my life started, this it happens like for a lot of people, is their life starts to get good. You take alcohol and drugs out of the equation for a little bit. I can ride on that like adrenaline of, oh my gosh, I finally feel accepted. I'm proud of myself. Like I
Do you know what you love about yourself?
mm,
Kind of like, well, no, actually, there's not really much I do.
mhm.
What are the odds you're going to find someone that can shoot in the dark and find the thing that you're not even aware of how to make?
Right.
Welcome to the Recovery Roundtable podcast, where the journey to sobriety opens up through powerful discussions and shared experiences. Join your host, Mark, who will bring you stories of triumph and resilience from the heart of Pacific Shores recovery. Every episode offers insights and support, guiding you through the challenges of addiction recovery. Thank you for joining our community. If you're ready to start or continue your recovery journey, we're here to inspire and support you. Let's explore recovery together.
Your story is phenomenal. I know you share a lot of stuff, but I'm hoping today we kind of get into maybe off the beaten path
Let's do
and
it.
kind of well, stuff that excites you, what you're doing.
Okay.
You're kind of a enigma. You love puppies and dogs and all sorts of
Horses.
things, horses.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's jump right in.
Okay.
You came back.
I came back. I couldn't get enough.
You came back to share some of the stuff. So I know last time you shared such incredible wisdom. You impact a lot of people.
I try.
Y-
Yeah.
You do, and from what little I do know about you, you are wonderfully humble, and I appreciate that. At the same time, you are doing things, and not just women, but men look up to you too. How did you make that transition
Yeah.
from life before to now of living very publicly, openly, unapologetically, and still being humble and being of service? Like I just take that and run with it.
Sure.
I,
Yeah,
I want to
yeah,
learn.
yeah. Says somebody who's so humble, but I think it's just like any other, journey to success or journey like fitness journey. It's really small daily activities, right? And it's discipline. Um, it was not always like that. I didn't always have the power of positive influence that I have now because I didn't live a life. And I think that's, when I see people who say, "Oh, I want to, do what you do." And I'm like, "Well, like how are you acting when no one's watching? And tell me about your daily habits because I really believe our daily habits will dictate our future."
So daily habits and what you do in the dark.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
how did you learn these two things?
I mean, I've always had really good mentors, but the program of Alcoholics Anonymous really deserves the credit of
Mm.
all of my growing upness, maturity. Um, the thing with like AA that has been so pivotal because before I would just do, I mean, I got sober at 31 and I would, spend hours in these help or like self-help seminars
Hmm.
and have these mentors and these coaches and even therapy. And it would be all good from a conceptual standpoint. But when it came to application, I really struggled, right? I didn't really have the accountability that I needed. And I also didn't have the skill set to do the follow through. I think what happens is people come in to, whether it's, hey, I want to run a marathon or I want to lose 30 pounds or I want to get sober, is they have this gigantic, big, hairy goal, right? And they don't really know how to chop it into bite sized pieces.
Mm.
And that's the one thing I found that has been so effective for me in my recovery is we just do it one day at a time. And sometimes it's 1 minute, right? It's just like, okay, how do I get through the next afternoon, like from one business meeting to the next without, popping a pill or running to the freezer to take a shot. And it's like really pretty easy when you can break it down into that. And then you're like, oh my gosh, I got a day. Oh my gosh, I was able to actually get through that craving. And then you take it, the next time and it's like, how am I going to get through this wedding sober? Right. And having accountability and, using the same skill set and the same mindset that you use to get through the last craving, you can use to get through something like a open bar or maybe it's a corporate event, and then you gain a little bit more confidence because you're like, holy cow, I just got through that sober,
So let's break that down,
Yeah,
because what you shared is it's not necessarily education, it's application.
totally.
And I agree with that 100%. And sometimes when we do the work, we're at such a different place, we kind of forget how we had to break that down.
Yeah,
And so you said something, I want the viewers to be able to learn application from
yeah,
this. So what were some of the things that you noticed worked for you? Because even though it's cliche, very true of 1 minute at a time. You hear this all the time, but it's kind of
yeah,
like, how do you do that minute?
yeah, yeah. Well, I think it all starts in how do you start your day, right? Like how your morning goes is how your day flows.
Mm,
And so if you're waking up and you don't have a morning routine and you don't have any structure and you're scrolling through your phone and just like in this reactionary mode, snoozing, like all of these things, you're setting yourself up for the rest of your day to look like that,
mm,
right? So something as simple as, I keep my phone on airplane mode for the first hour of my day. I keep it on throughout the night too. But for the first hour of my day, I don't check my phone. My alarm goes off. I get up. I don't check my phone. And I have 1 hour to spend with Jesus and my goal setting and my morning literature. And I do journaling and I set my day up, really just ask God, like, what do you want me to do today? And then I, let my dogs out, have coffee, I cold plunge, and I make a list of to-dos. Now, that's not entirely accurate because part of my nightly routine is to plan my next day. So really, my next day already has my to-do list.
mhm.
My morning routine is really more spiritual than it is, practical. But it is about just like centering myself. I think it's so important that you tell you who is boss of your life. And if you're waking up and just like, okay, oh my gosh, and I like have treatment centers, and if I went to my notifications first thing in the morning, it's insanity, right?
Happy Monday.
It's chaos. Like we can go through there right now and it's like, what on earth is happening, right? Or I choose to be in charge of my own schedule, my own calendar. And then, when I put my phone on, I'm already centered. I'm like, okay, cool. Yep. And I know exactly what I'm doing. I plan my day out hour by hour. Like, this is what I'm doing from, 9 to 10, 10 to 11. I include drive time. And it sounds kind of crazy, but I do really well under structure. Most alcoholics need some discipline and need structure, right? So even just something as simple as saying, okay, I'm making my bed today, right? I'm brushing my teeth, I'm getting dressed, and I'm going to attend a meeting at this time. And then, marking it off your list. Like when you are able to keep promises to yourself, who I believe is the most important
Mm,
person in the world, it actually builds confidence. When you say, oh, I'll go to the gym, and then you break that promise to yourself, you're literally breaking your, like, you're saying to yourself, my word doesn't matter.
yeah.
And, I just have found that when I'm able to show up for myself, even for something so simple as making my bed, calling my sponsor, uh, you know, doing these things that seem really mundane and small, after a period of time, they become habitual. And it's like
Mhm.
you don't even have to think about it anymore. And then you're showing up for yourself, and it feels weird when you don't, right? It feels weird when I don't do my nightly routine. It feels weird when I don't pray and meditate in the morning. If I do not take that hour, sometimes I have to cut it short. It's a half hour or 45 minutes. But if I don't take that time, my whole day feels off.
Yeah.
And that's really the goal, is let's build some healthy habits, because we all have habits, right? It's something that we do automatically without thinking.
Yeah. It's just, are they conscious for
Right.
creation, or are they
Exactly.
reactionary?
Exactly. And sometimes people don't even know. It's like, well, what if you took inventory? How much time are you actually spending on your phone? Scrolling through Instagram. What do you do when you first wake up? And then, being in the intentional mindset of not anymore. I am in charge of my own schedule. I am in charge of my own calendar. I'm no longer going to be in this reactionary mode, but I'm going to respond out of a place of centeredness and calmness.
Yeah. And so if that's where you are now, going back, because I've noticed that too. It's like, oh, it's simple. You just do this.
Right.
I remember when I first got introduced to weightlifting,
Yeah.
I would see these guys putting up crazy weight. Like, oh, okay, I couldn't even pick up the bar to what they were
Right.
doing. And
Yeah.
so trying to compare me just starting to where a person has been doing this for years.
Yeah.
So what kind of led you to, I'll call it piercing through the pain, to go, I'm living this way. There's got to be something else. Here's just the small, consistent action. And I love what you said. I'm going to make a commitment to myself and I'm going to keep it regardless.
Yeah.
So what were some of those micro commitments you made that got you to where you're doing it today?
Yeah. Well, I think, when we look at what really brings about true change, it usually comes from pain, right? And I was in 2014 and 15, I was really in a place where I knew that the life that I was living wasn't really what God had for me, but I didn't know how to change it. And so I just kept this cycle going of like, okay, today's going to be different. Today is going to be my sobriety date. Today I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to, not go to happy hour. I'm going to eat healthy. And I would just try to take on all these things at once, right? And then I would fail at one of them. And then I'm like, what's the point?
Yeah.
I might as well just, I'll start again tomorrow. And it was just this perpetual cycle. And you do that enough that you start to lose all confidence in your ability to change. And then you just believe, well, I'm going to be a slave to this stuff forever, right? But thank goodness I knew that I just had this drive and this conviction in my heart that God had built me for something so much bigger.
There's like this ledge of acceptance where it's kind of like, well, I guess this is the hand I was dealt. This is what I have to figure out. But there's still, so one of the things I want to explore is, for most, they explain there was like a whisper. It's not like this screaming, yelling of like, here's what to do. There's a whisper. And that's the part we tend to number sedate out.
Yeah.
So when you were on that ledge of, well, basically it's the fork in the road. It's like, I guess this is how I'm going to live the rest of my life. All the hope goes out the window too. That whisper of, I was made for more. Like I'm meant for more. Meant for more. That's what it means. I was meant for more. How did you start to cultivate that voice or have that obedience to listen, if that makes sense?
Yeah. So again, I think it all came back to pain. I found myself in a place that I really didn't want to live anymore. I didn't have the courage to take my own life, but I would wake up every day and I was like, is this it? Like, really, God? Like, can I just not wake up tomorrow? And it's like, it's emotional to even say that, because my whole life is today, like, I mean, it's something I never thought I would be capable of creating. But, there was a time in my life that I didn't want to be here.
Yeah.
And I just would beg God for the ability to walk away from this stuff. And something that was really confusing to me was that I did have a relationship with God. I became a born-again believer when I was 18. I got baptized at 19. I started walking with the Lord pretty closely from about 20 to 24. And when I graduated college, I started working for a company, and I had stopped drinking during that time. And so when I started working for that company, I started going to corporate events or even like sales trainings where they had open bars. And I just assumed, well, it's been long enough, right? Like real alcoholics drink every day. And I've been able to stop for a few years. I should be fine. And
do you mind if I jump in real
Sure.
quick and go back? I felt what you were just feeling, but it didn't feel like pain.
Yeah.
What was it? It was a beautiful moment. Like I
Yeah.
felt super connected to you,
Yeah.
and then you went right
Yeah.
back to the beautiful stuff
Yeah.
you do. But I'm like, if you're up for, I'd love to create space, because I didn't feel pain when you went back there. There was, because you said I had a relationship with God, but it was, I don't know, it was something different. Is that accurate?
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of, I think I had a lot of disappointment.
Put on you or from yourself?
From myself, and a lot of guilt and shame because I knew better. You know, I just thought like that it's very hard when you know God and you are also in addiction.
Mm-hmm.
And especially if you're living in darkness and you don't have anyone really walking you through it, because the enemy will keep you in the darkness and say, nobody needs to know about
Yeah.
this, not a big deal. And I stayed silent for a really long time because I was just like, I'll figure this out. I'm a big, like, I'll figure it out type of girl,
Yeah.
right?
No, you're definitely, you got the alpha part. The part that was intriguing though is, so you have a conversation with Christ, you've got this communion,
Yeah.
and it kind of felt like it was
Yeah.
split in two worlds of, I'm in this world, not of this world, but I'm falling into this world.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about guilt and shame on yourself, not
Yeah.
necessarily from others. How are you able to unpack that? Because that's the biggest thing that we see people stuck in
Yeah.
is I feel like we're all this way, but it's like we're all thinking nobody can know because I'm more messed up than other people. I'm more
Yeah.
broken. If people really knew, and so we basically suffer in silence. Where once we start talking out or asking questions, almost every human being I've met, they're like,
Totally.
"Oh my gosh, I think that too."
Totally.
And so to wrestle with communing with your creator at the same time of like, I know I'm meant for more, but I'm doing this. How are you able to reconcile that?
Yeah. Well, I think the challenge is that it was a misconception I had that I shouldn't have these struggles if I have a relationship with God,
Mm.
right? I really truly believed, because I have seen people be radically healed, right?
Last time we talked about Becky,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. And so,
Yeah, I want that. What
right,
the hell?
right. And you know, I didn't understand. Like, I was like, well, maybe I messed up. Maybe I did something wrong. Maybe my salvation wasn't real. And I wasn't talking about that enough. What I did is I just accepted the, um, I think I just really believed like, I'm going to have to figure this out on my own because I've tried to
Mm.
go that way.
Do you
And
think that screws people up when, because this is where I see a lot of people, and rightfully so with their own stories, get angry at God, kind of like, I prayed, why didn't you fix me?
yeah,
I must not be worth it. And unfortunately, we kind of pervert this relationship
sure.
from earth to spiritual, whatever you want to
Yeah.
call it. So what were some of the things that you told yourself that you were able to go through? Because that's the biggest, I would say, spiritual confusion and pain
Yeah.
that I've seen people go
Yeah.
through.
Yeah. Well, I think there is, I'm very good at being, even at, you know, at 9.5 years sober, I'm very good at being a human doer
Mm-hmm.
rather than a human being. And so I would check the boxes, right? I would do the Bible readings and I would go to church and I was like, okay, like, God, I've done it all, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like, here's the thing is that we don't have to do anything for God. Like, we really don't. But I believe that He gives us these trials and these tribulations, one as potentially a form of discipline,
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, our disobedience. And I have been incredibly rebellious in my relationship with Christ. I mean, I have walked away. You know, I mean, what kind of God would He be if He didn't discipline us? You know, the root of discipline is disciple, right? Which means to lead. And I have learned so much. I just had to change my mindset on, oh, He wasn't disciplining me. Like, you know, so and so's rejection is God's protection. And so, what I think had been so beneficial for me is that God let me try all my things. God let me, because we do have free will.
Yeah.
He let me try, you know, the weed maintenance and the equine baths and the ayahuasca and all of this stuff, right?
California sober.
Right, right. And, you know, none of it worked. And
Yeah.
so thank goodness, because when I came in at 31, like, people ask me, have you ever relapsed? I mean, I relapsed every day before I came into a 12-step program. I literally couldn't stay stopped. I
Mm-hmm.
might be able to stop for a weekend or an event, or, you know, maybe I would just be white knuckling it for a season of my life. But, you know, what the 12-step program has given me is freedom.
Mm.
And I never really understood like this isn't about abstinence. Like my newfound freedom in sobriety and recovery has given me this understanding that like it's almost like a new relationship with God. Like he has always wanted to for me to be free, you
And
know?
that's the part that I still at times get in my own way trying to wrap my head around it, but it's like the freedom that's found in discipline. It's like
Yes.
so anti, but
Right.
so as you started to surrender to this process, as you started to actually become more disciplined, you found more freedom.
Yes. And I also think that the surrender, one of the biggest fears that I actually was able to come to terms with, but it took me a really long time, was that, man, I actually have this thing, you know?
Mm.
Like I tried for years to convince myself that I don't have it, right? Alcoholism, addiction. I was like, how could I have this if I, have a relationship with God and I have a good job and I have, a roof over my head, never been fired, no DUIs, no police arrests. How could I be an alcoholic? And it's like, alcoholism, one, doesn't discriminate, and two, it has nothing to do with the exterior, but everything to do with what happens when I take a drink.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's like when somebody's allergic to bees, right? You have to shoot them with an EpiPen. Their throat closes, their lips swell up, and it's like there's nothing wrong with the bee. It's how their body metabolizes the bee
Mm-hmm.
poison. And I had to come to terms with the fact that I am highly allergic to alcohol, that when I take one drink, I cannot manage the next one. And that my thinking is what gets me into this crazy, like, whirlwind of, maybe I can, maybe I can't. And it's just like anything that you try to control probably has control over you.
Why do you think that's a difficult acceptance
Ugh.
for so many people? Because we see it all the time. It's kind of
Yeah.
like, well, I love it. Well, when I get a rehab, I'll try weed because I just had struggle with this. And it's kind of like, I remember I was in, I want to say college. My friend had a blood clot. I remember the day he got back from the doctor, his left arm looked like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like it was huge.
Sure.
Doctor said, I'm putting you on blood thinners. It's going to be a year-long process. You can't drink for a year. And he goes, oh, okay. And so he was the designated driver. Like you hear that, well, and that's the part where like you hear that, you're like,
Yeah.
okay, not an issue. Why if someone goes, this might be the part that's creating so much pain in your life, why don't you just not do it and see what happens? And it's like, well, I need to. Why do you think there's that either emotional or physical or that draw of like, well, no, I want to keep doing this?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think like any of us like to admit defeat. We just don't, right? And it is a pretty big admittance. And when you get to the point of, I mean, when you actually finally come to terms with the fact that you have this thing, there is both a relief, but also now a sense of responsibility that comes with it. Because you don't just like accept that you have cancer. It's like, oh my gosh, I might die. Like there's all of this that comes with this acceptance of being sick. And now, if you're a really good alcoholic like I was, I ran from everything. I didn't really, if it made me feel good, I wanted more of it. If it made me feel bad, I'm numbing out from it. So having to face this thing that feels overwhelming and scary and unknown. And also, there's so much social stigma around an alcoholic. There is so much that people assume, your life is over. I mean, it is like a death sentence, right? And I think it's probably when it's like, oh, it's like leprosy. Like people are like, I mean, I'm going to be outside the city gates, no one will.
I hear all the time, like, oh, I'm having a boring life now. I'm kind of like, remind me what you were doing before.
Right.
And then what do you,
yeah.
So, oh my gosh. Okay. So you're open to such great things. So as you made the decision or you had the acceptance of, okay, I've got this allergy, and you made a decision to stop drinking, what were some of the emotions or feelings that started to come up that maybe caused some of the drinking or that you were looking to sedate?
Yeah.
That's the part a lot of people don't talk about.
Yeah. So When I was 20 years old, the man that introduced me to Jesus, he and I were married. And he knew me when I was kind of a crazy party girl. And then I had a radical transformation after I accepted Christ. And we got married, didn't drink at my own wedding, had a pretty incredible marriage. Like, he was a really amazing guy. And I graduated from college. I got this job that put me in front of opportunities that I wasn't really prepared for, because I really truly believe that the amount of time between drinks like determined if you were an alcoholic or not. And really it has nothing to do with it. Right. Um, and so it's like the amount of time between bee stings, like that doesn't matter. It's like if you're allergic to a bee,
30
like,
days without incident.
yes,
I'm okay. Let's
yes,
go. Let's go
right.
run to the beehive.
Exactly. That's exactly how alcoholics are. And so I started drinking and making a lot of really poor choices. I began the double life. I was also very young, and I didn't have proper mentorship. I think I was just dealing with alcoholism, and I don't want to blame it on the alcohol, but alcoholism is, I believe, a like fatal progressive disease. And I believe that I got it from both my parents' side, and I'm the first one to say it stops with me, right? So I drug that man through a lot of unnecessary pain and drama, and I had a lot of guilt around that. So and that progressed when he finally gave me a divorce at 24 years old. I had roughly 7 or 8 years of like very dysfunctional alcohol and drug abuse. You can have functional abuse. I guess that's yeah. But he was like one of my main, just like heartbreaks of doing a lot of horrible things to a person who didn't deserve it. And then just a string of broken relationships after that, broken promises to myself. I would get drunk or loaded and write these amazing, elaborate business plans about how I'm gonna, help all these people. And I literally would wake up the next day. One, I couldn't read my handwriting, and two, it was like, what? You're nuts. Like, you're not gonna do any of that because you can't even get yourself to the gym, right? And when I did, it was just always drug induced, and it was just this like everything took so much effort. I was not even living. I was just, walking around existing in this stupor, whether I was, on pain pills or prescription Adderall or Xanax or alcohol. It was just like I was so afraid to feel nothing, like normal, like to be in a state of where I am today was the biggest fear, because then I would have to deal with the feelings that I had pushed down for so long. And
so is guilt kind of that primary driving emotion that just kept popping up?
Guilt and shame. I think there was a lot of resentment towards myself too. I hate that because, we're so selfish anyways, but the feeling of
hearing you say that, actually, it's a beautiful thing, because I remember hearing this story. I won't go on the whole thing, but basically the moral of the story was we talk far worse to ourselves than we would ever talk to anybody or allow anybody to talk to us. And that's kind of the norm, because it's what we think and feel, and we assume it's that way. So when you say, I had a major resentment against myself, having that level of awareness is a lot of the time what it takes. So you make a decision to stop. The guilt, the shame, the resentment starts coming up. So how do you deal with that newly sober? What did you do?
So I think I didn't quite deal with it for a few months. I was like riding the high of like the fellowship. My life started, it happens like for a lot of people, is their life starts to get good. You take alcohol and drugs out of the equation for a little bit, I can ride on that like adrenaline of, oh my gosh, I finally feel accepted. I'm proud of myself. Like I did that for about 3 months. And the woman who brought me into the program kept saying like, okay, it's like, you got to get a sponsor. She couldn't sponsor me because she had, 6 kids and was like so insanely busy, but she just kept suggesting really, really, really like advisable that you find a sponsor sooner rather than later. And at about 90 days, you start to feel weird. Then like you take the drugs and the alcohol away, and then you go for the next thing, which is usually for me, a man. And so, focused on him, that didn't work out, and found myself in a world of hurt. Didn't drink or pick up, but was contemplating it. And that's when I was like, okay, I should probably work the steps, because everyone's talking about how they help them, feel better about their past and not make the same mistakes. And the whole program is about, changing your life. If you don't change the way that you think, your sobriety date will change, all these things, right? So it was really the pain of like another like broken relationship. I mean, albeit I was very new in sobriety, but I, rode the high of like that pink cloud high of like no drugs and alcohol. And like, I have this new sober community, and I don't even know if I need the steps. Like, that's for them, not for me.
I'm
Then,
different.
yeah. Then I had this breakup in sobriety, and it was like, ooh, I definitely, like, all that pain came right back up. And so that's when I decided to dive into the steps. And my sponsor was, really helpful in getting me involved with a group of women. And for about the next year, I just spent going on trips with them, really investing in female relationships. That was something I'd never done.
Well, and I was going to say, if we can dive into that,
Yeah.
because you've mentioned specifically in a group of women, girl trips, how important is it to surround yourself with same sex when you're new into this new lifestyle and uncovering resentments, guilt,
Yeah.
shame, all these different things?
Well, they say that the men will pat your ass in the program, the women will save your ass. And that has been my experience. And it's not anything, against men or women. It's just our nature is, for me, is to go to the next thing that makes me feel good. And if my broken, like unhealed self is going to go to a man, to a broken, unhealed man, right? That's exactly what I chose.
We attract equal level. It's
Exactly.
impossible to attract healthier than we are.
Totally. And so, I had to try it out for myself to be like, oh, that doesn't really. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I get it. And what's so interesting now is like, I look at the type of men that I'm attracted to now, totally different than what I was in new like sobriety. Because
no longer need to fix them.
Right.
Isn't that crazy?
Like, it's literally like, if you don't have, I really am not interested in dating anyone in recovery. Yeah. That's not my vibe. Our relationship is not big enough for two of us, like we're so much as it is. Like, for two of us, it's a lot. But I think, investing in other women, and I have, it's just so crazy how the tables have turned, because now, my like ministry, my heart, like sponsoring other women, but I'm in like a entrepreneur group that is not even part of this recovery community. And like, we are so close, and we have such incredible conversations. I have gone to new depths in understanding myself with these women. And, a man can't understand me. He just can't,
Full disclosure, I've seen you share some of your stuff on stories. I'm like, I wish I was a female in there. That looks like, and I'm part of men's groups, but it's just, it's different with women and women. But I'm glad you hit on that, because what we see so often is, I don't know how to fix myself, and it's way easier to try to fix someone else. So I'm just going to keep trying to fix somebody else. And it's like, I remember asking one of the clients this, of asking like, do you know what you love about yourself? They're kind of like, well, no, actually, there's not really much I do. What are the odds you're going to find someone that can shoot in the dark and find the thing that you're not even aware of how to meet?
Right.
And so that's.
She would say, I'm proud of you. I wish that I could shield her from some of the pain, but all of the pain that she's going to go through, God is going to use every bit of it. Next question.
I'm actually just enjoying sitting here with you. And
Yeah,
it's beautiful to honor the pain, because our past pain can become the playbook for a person.
totally.
And when we try to cover that up
Yeah.
or try to shine it or make it look prettier than it is,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it misses connecting with someone whose life it was meant to help change.
Right.
And so I just want to honor, as weird as it sounds, the pain you've gone through
Yeah.
to become the person that you are here,
Thank
and
you.
seeing the thousands and probably hundreds of thousands that we're even unaware of different human beings, these beautiful souls that you've helped impact.
Thank you.
Like I just want to sit in this and just honor the work that you've done.
Thank you.
It's awesome to see you and to see that version of her.
Yeah. It's hard to recognize it in the middle. You know, that's what we think are our liabilities become our strongest assets. Some of the things that I've been most shameful about um, have have been my greatest opportunities to help somebody else. And that's the thing, is that this isn't even about us.
Yeah.
It really isn't. It's about who we can impact and who we can show has really transformed and changed our lives, and who works through us every day if we let him.
Yeah, it's there's an equation. I see a lot of people get stuck in just faith alone.
Mm-hmm.
I see a lot of people get stuck in works alone.
Mm-hmm.
When you put faith plus works, so I like to say divinely directed action, and then what is it? Dumb enough to listen, smart enough to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we create this magic place that creates the freedom from discipline and
Yeah.
obedience. I know for me, one of the most difficult lessons I used to have to learn a ton, I'm getting better,
Mm-hmm.
is that delayed obedience is still disobedience.
Yes.
And wanting to fast forward through the
Yes.
pain, or that lie of, well, someday, once
Yeah.
this happens, then, as opposed to what it looked like if I just started listening to the whisper and doing that work today, right now.
Yeah. Also, partial obedience is still disobedience.
Yeah. I love it. We get clients every once in a while. And so as I start learning the steps, I like this one and this one, but number
Right.
one, I
The
don't
a la
like.
carte version.
Yeah. And it's kind of like, well, I don't know. Let me know. It's like getting in a car and being
Right.
like, I only like these 3 wheels. Get rid of that wheel.
Right.
I don't know if
Right.
it's going to run that well.
Yeah.
Might kind of
Yeah.
work, but
Yeah.
you let me know how that works out.
Yep.
So you talked about how important community was for you, and that you actually started the community
Yeah.
that welcomes, is it men and women?
Yep. Yeah. It's really, and I mean, how it started was I had a lot of people that were reaching out on social media, or when I speak at places, you know, because I don't just speak about recovery. Like, there's also business opportunities, and just, you know, in the professional sense as well. And so a lot of people are sober curious. Like, it's kind of a trend. You know,
Yeah,
people are
big
seeing
time.
like, this is poison, right? It's not getting me closer to my goals. You know, how did you stop? And I tell everyone AA saved and changed my life. I don't necessarily believe everyone needs AA. Like, if you aren't, an alcoholic as described in the book, you probably don't need to live by this set of spiritual standards that we have. But, there's other things that I've learned in my journey that have really helped me, morning routine, daily disciplines, accountability, community. And so I have this community called Chains to Changed, and it is a social media platform. You can do it totally and honestly. I actually tell people, hey, make up a name. I don't care, right? Like, sweet potato, whatever it is that is going to make you, get in there, because right now, as it stands, people are so hungry for community. They are feeling so alone. One of the first things I tell somebody who says that they want to get sober is, I said, find the closest sober person in proximity to you. Like, maybe that's a parent or a neighbor, and just hang out with them, because proximity is power.
Isn't it crazy? We have more access than ever, but we're the most starved for connection we've ever been.
Yes. And they say like, I don't know anyone sober but you. And I'm like,
Mm.
I'm on social media. Like, what? Okay, all right, okay. And God just said, if not you, then who? Like, I need you to make this thing. And I'm like, you know, all right, out of obedience, I will do this, Lord. But, I don't really see the point. I don't know why, but he really did put it in my heart to do it. And, there's over 800 members in it today.
That's awesome.
And, regardless, numbers isn't really, it's people are staying sober. They're like, I feel more connected. Somebody I saw this morning say, me and my wife got an argument. I would have normally gone out for a drink, but I popped on this app and I scrolled through everybody's posts. I posted, what I was struggling with. And then I posted what I was grateful for, and I didn't pick up a drink. And I'm like, wow, okay, God. Like, it's all him. It's truly all the work that, he's doing. He's just letting us be useful. And I think that's everybody's goal here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is just to be useful. So it's been really cool. We have community calls. Right now we're doing Dry July. And, if some people might say, hey, my life is better off without alcohol. I mean, that's been the thing for a lot. It's like the theme. And, some people tell me, like, I really, struggle with drinking for years. My parents were alcoholics. And then I really suggest like 12-step program might be of use and benefit. But I don't know, like, my job is just to be the light and to lead by example. And if somebody, chooses to live a sober life, like I don't think anybody has ever regretted getting sober. I really don't.
Yeah.
Like, for me, it's only brought like this abundance and this incredible life that I just never even thought I was capable of.
Because you've been doing the work.
Yeah.
You live from where you lead from where you live.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. I don't tell anyone to do anything that I don't do personally, right? Whether that's getting up or, making my bed, calling my sponsor. I mean, back to basics, I still do the things that got me from day 0 to day 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like so many people are like, oh, that was, I feel great. I got 30 days. And it's like, okay, I got a 6-pack. I'm going to stop going to the gym. Like, that never works, right? What do you mean? Then you keep doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Now you go tell others how to do it. Each one teach one. Our job is now to pass it on. Like, God gave you that mountain so that you could show someone else how to climb it. Not so you could stand at the top and say how great you are, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
the achievement is helping others up the same way that you did.
Yeah, that is a fun high to chase. Continually helping other people.
Oh my gosh.
Showing them the path.
Yeah.
Well, if someone might be struggling or on the fence or just not sure of where to start, or if this even is something that would help them, what advice would you give them?
Yeah. I think the first thing I would say is, if you know anybody that's sober in your community that you trust, reach out to them and have a conversation. Sharing is going to bring so much clarity, and also is going to take the burden and the heaviness away. So I would say, like, and that's why I have so many people reach out to me anonymously on social media that just say, I think I have a problem, and excuse me, it's like, it's just having a conversation. Okay, tell me why. Like, you probably do if you're at this place, but newsflash, there's a solution. You don't have, stage 4 cancer, you're going to die tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, there's work to be done, but there is a solution. And so I say, share it with somebody that you know and trust, ideally somebody who's sober or in recovery, and then take action. Like, if you want different results, you got to do different.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't expect the same results and keep doing the same thing. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, it's probably one of my favorite pre-qualifying questions when someone reaches out.
Yeah.
Says, I think I might have a problem. I'm not really sure. How would you tell? I go, the fact that you asked this tells me everything.
Yes.
Are you ready to start?
Right.
And then we get to change lives.
Totally.
Well, thank you for coming
Of
down.
course.
It's I could do this all night,
I know,
but it has
you're
been
such a
awesome.
great host.
Thank you for opening up.
Yeah.
Being just so vulnerable. Like, I love it seeing you open up and showing people like, here's who I am, here's who I was, here's who I continue to be. And this is like literally, this is the process of growth and expansion to continually grow in this
Yeah.
world. Like it was just so cool to see. I feel
Thank
like you
you.
took me on this incredible journey. So
You took
thank you.
me.
I appreciate you.
Thank you.